Mark and Joey here with our NHL show for this week, our NHL Rewind show. We talk about everything happening in the past week. Do first want to talk about ultimatesportschannel.com. Head over to the website. We have 50 posts every day on every sport happening. Great place to start your day and get a variety of sports to view into. We also, Joey, by the way, started to set them up as categories now. So if you just love football, just go to the football category. Look at the top of the page. You'll see the category tab, and you can go to the category you want to watch if you don't want to look at every single sport out there. So look for that. Also want to thank our Roku fans. That's where we started, was on Roku, and we're now over 30,000 subscribers, Joey. Pretty monumental for us, and we appreciate that. We would ask you, though, if you're on Roku, if you wouldn't mind giving us a rating there, because the more ratings we get, the more people come to the show, which is awesome, and we appreciate the help you can give us with that. So you need to click on our channel, then immediately hit the star key and give us a rating. Once you're into the videos, it doesn't come up for you. A little bit weird, but that's how you have to leave that feedback. Vimeo.com, Joey, we hit over 1 million views this week. That's in 7 months. 1 million views. We appreciate that so much. And we're also on patreon.com, where we're setting up a subscription that allows you to get notified on all the shows, but also some incredible bonuses we have on patreon.com. So head over there as well. So we want to get in the NHL this week, Joey. Coaching has been the story for the last couple of weeks, and we've had some more firings, but we've also had what looks like the new coaching and what it can do to a team. Now, we're going to see a little bit of a length on this, I guess you want to say, but Toronto has gone out hot with the new coach, and now with Peters being fired in Calgary, 7-0-1 since they got the new coach.
I wish I was more famous and influential, because I've said this all along, and you've said it all along, and we talk like... This show happens like days before, because we talk about this stuff all the time, and we both said, you know, I get the reasons why, and the reasons why is very sad. I really want to say it's disappointing when the sport you love, this happens to it. Obviously, unfortunately, most people around us were kind of new. This stuff went on, and it's very...
Things got quiet.
You know, so it is very sad. I want to first say that it's wrong what definitely some of these things were said about these guys, some of the stuff that was done. The African-American player who also, after the Leafs got backpack fire, stories came about Bill Peters, was apparently used with painting himself black to imitate him and stuff. So,
unbelievable.
Anyways, I just want to say it was definitely wrong, and obviously it's very sad to hear these stories, especially, again, in a sport that we absolutely love, and I know a lot of people love too. I know one of my friends just got hooked on it. He loves the fast pace. He loves the goals. He loves, the contact, the fans. He thinks it's the coolest new sport to him. So I'm glad it's getting taken care of. Gary Bettman, I don't know why he always gets booed. I don't know exactly what he's done wrong throughout his career, but probably the lockout in 2005 was the biggest thing. But he came out and handled it really, really well. Very strong stance on it. I think he did a great job. Basically saying, what he should say is, it's over. Like, we're taking care of it. It's going to be done. Every coach that, unfortunately, is old school, and I don't totally blame them, because it's kind of the way they were taught to coach, and they played under that kind of thing. So it's not totally fair, but he's getting rid of it, and teams are getting rid of their coaches if they had any history of this, and they're bringing in young blood, and they're bringing in young guns, which we saw in the NFL. For the most part, we're seeing it in basketball, and now we're seeing it in hockey, and it makes complete sense. I'm glad it's happening, and on top of the fact they know how to handle that kind of stuff, because we grew up now in a world where we understand it all, and what's wrong, what's right. They're also just new blood as far as strategy, and understanding that you got superstar players, you got to talk to these players, you got to bring these players in on the game plan. You got to ask them, hey, Matthews, do you want to play 22 minutes? I'll give you the opportunity. Now, if you're going to be crap, I'm going to take you off, but give that guy the opportunity, because he's making $12 million a year. He needs to be able to do that if he wants to. So these young coaches have grown up coaching in a modern area where they understand that guys make tons of money, players run these teams. They might even coach a couple of them in the OHL and junior and all that stuff. And these new coaches are doing a great job to these teams. And I think fresh blood's always good for NHL teams. They need a new voice. They're tired of probably getting yelled at by the same person all the time.
Well, it's funny. It takes things like this. The NFL, as you mentioned, has gone younger. Certainly, this is a new thing for hockey to go younger.
Definitely.
These experienced coaches have kind of roamed around the league.
It's amazing,
for a long time.
really.
So,
when you think about it.
there are a lot of teams are afraid to make these changes when they've got these other coaches with experience in there. They're forcing the hand. We're starting to find out how these guys can coach it. Pretty great starts. We'll start to see the longevity of these streaks, whether the coaching takes them further into the season. But certainly a great start, and all the changes very positive for the game of hockey. Very negative to start with, very positive how quickly it's being handled. It's great to see these teams go out. This is putting extra pressure on the players, and maybe that's why you're seeing some of these streaks right out of the gate, because they've gone in, they've made the complaints, they've got the changes to happen. So kind of on them a little bit now to get out with a new coach and play, and they're doing it.
Well, definitely. And I think it's also important for them to go out and, be happier and now promote the league now in a good way, and be complimentary of how quickly it was kind of handled. And it is on the players now to be like, hey, we've brought in a young coach and we've told them we've laid down the law on even if you bring in an old coach, the law is now laid down for that old coach, so he has to know that. And players are kind of getting what they want here, so it is on them to not only play well for the team because they, like you said, lost your place, but more importantly, go back and re-promote the league now.
Yeah.
Be positive about it. I think it is positive. I think it was handled as quietly as you can handle it. In one way, good thing you're not the NFL. It would have been definitely way bigger in the United States if it was the NFL. But really, yeah, now it's on the players in the league. Gary Bettman's kind of gone, I had my meetings. I'm getting rid of the coaches. I'm telling GMs that, like, if you've heard of this, you should go fire him no matter who he is. It's been done. Dallas, Calgary, Toronto, assistant coach in Chicago. So it's being handled, and now it's up to the players. Go play, go have fun, be happy, and I'm sure, more importantly, go win for your city.
Yeah, I think so for sure. And so it looks like the players have taken on the responsibility. They were the ones that really talked about the changes and what was being done to them, said to them, and all those kinds of things. So obviously, these players feeling good about the way they're coming to work every day is producing as far as the scores are concerned. Listen, we were talking about Gary Bettman, and you mentioned about why it's unusual. He always seems to get booed. I don't know why. Even after the lockout back in 2005, hockey is growing exponentially in the United States, and so I don't know why he always gets that. But you know what? USA Hockey Hall of Fame notices what Gary Bettman's done over the years, and he is going into the USA Hockey Hall of Fame.
Well, I feel with any commissioner, if he wasn't doing a good job, the owners would get rid of him. So
yeah,
he's been around for a long time.
27 years.
Yeah,
I'm shocked by how long he's been around.
I don't really know why he gets booed. I know the lockout was thing. Well, every commissioner really gets booed besides Adam Silver, who commissions the NBA. Goodell gets booed. Bettman, like I said, I don't really know why, but hey, he doesn't care. 27 years, making, I'm sure, nice little paycheck, and done a great job. He's expanded this league to the point that the owners said, let's make it 32 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, how many leagues can say that recently, that they've been so successful they want to do that? They've taken so many views from the NFL and NBA. It's impressive. Like I said, I know personally fans that now watch hockey over any other sport. So, in my mind, A+ job by him. You can just tell by how long he's been there that obviously he's working for the owners and working well enough with the players that they keep signing a new CBA. So, hey, good for him, and he's due really to get awarded. So
yeah, so I think that's fantastic going to the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame, and really important too. 27 years ago, this sport was about Canada.
I know,
and they brought in a U.S. guy in Bettman to lead the charge in the U.S. He's done a fantastic job. There really hasn't been a lot of controversial stuff within the sport. He handles stuff quickly, decisively, and I like that. Glad to see that happen. Now, listen, on the player side, one of the great goalies is going in as well. Tim Thomas is going to also go into the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. Tremendous goalie of Boston over the years.
Yeah, an odd one, but definitely a great goalie. With
hey,
Boston.
You were a goalie. Let's talk about personalities. I mean, goalies have to be odd. I mean, that's just the way it is to play that position. Yeah. So, but Tim Thomas was great. It was great.
He was great. He was great. Yeah, I mean, he was on we always say it goes hand in hand. I mean, Brodeur was on a great team. He was on a great team, but he was great. And he got the Boston Bruins to a Stanley Cup in 2009, I believe now, all the way 10 years ago. Tuukka Rask hasn't done it, so I give him the leg up for sure. Definitely deserving, American players. Right now, there's a lot more than there used to be, but it's important to recognize really the ones that kind of, got there first. And he's one of the American goalies. That there's not a lot of American goalies. I mean, there's not many Canadian goalies anymore. A lot of them are European. So, but definitely not many Americans. So, for him to be who he is with a Stanley Cup winner and a team with Boston, he should definitely be honored by the U.S. Hockey, being probably, I don't know other American goalies well enough to say he's the greatest American goalie, but I definitely know he, in his time of still decently recent, only 10 years ago, probably inspired a lot of American kids to take it up and play some goalie. So,
well, I think there's no doubt about it. I mean, he was the oldest goalie to win a Stanley Cup. So,
there you go.
He played a long time, was a great goaltender. Congratulations to him as well. I do have to say our apologies. I don't know of all the guys that are going in. Those are the two great ones as far as I was concerned, going in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. There was 3 more. But not the kind of names that these two were. So anyway, we take notice and congratulate both of them getting in there. Joey, talking about longevity in the games here, I want to get this right. Joe Thornton is the 12th player, reached 1,600 NHL games in his career. He's now 40 years old. He's the leader among active NHL players with assists, 1,075, and points, 1,488 points.
Well, I sure hope so when you play 1,600 games.
One of the best beards, obviously, in hockey. So congratulations to Joe Thornton. I think there was a lot of talk about the potential of him retiring last year, and that might have happened if they won the Cup. But he is back. The team has got to pick it up and make it to the playoffs again and give him that opportunity because he's without a Cup.
Yeah, if they don't make the playoffs, I'd question him returning. He definitely came back because they're so close last year. So hopefully they can get in the playoffs to try to make a run for him. Definitely someone who deserves it. Him and Marlowe, both on the San Jose Sharks there, played a long time and not winning a cup and been very good players, staple players in the NHL. And I'm sure his wife wants him to try just so he shaves the beard. I mean, that thing is something else.
Not just a playoff beard. That's a beard that's year round. So anyway,
it'd take me 21 years to grow that thing.
Yeah, exactly. But congratulations to him playing that long. I've never really heard anything bad about Joe Thornton.
No,
and all that scoring he's done, I think is very impressive. And hopefully they can find a cup. I feel really bad for guys who put the time in the NHL, are that talented and cannot win a cup. I feel bad that happens.
And definitely
every sport it happens, but I feel bad it's happening.
I mean, you think of in the NFL, Dan Marino, who's even more like accomplished in the theory of the sport than Joe Thornton would be. But Joe Thornton definitely has been one of those guys that has been spread around from like Team Canada's too. So if you're a Canadian, he holds a little bit more for you because he's been captain of a lot of Team Canada teams. Have been very important when we were competing in the Olympics. Of winning some gold medals there. But yeah, he's definitely a guy, I mean, you got to respect it. Anytime someone's body can hold up that long, he's never worn a face mask. So he's a tough SOB, and I hope he can get a cup somehow. I don't think he will. San Jose's looking very normal of late and may not even make the playoffs. So we'll see, but maybe something will happen for him. But definitely a good career regardless.
Well, the Sharks have taken a step to try and turn this all around, getting rid of their coach.
Yeah, and this was this is all hockey.
About how they're playing.
So unfortunately for him, he got fired at a bad time.
Yeah, he gets put in that bunch.
Put in that bunch of coach getting fired. But this is all hockey, and they need to do something. I mean, I think Martin Jones is a bit of an issue, but they need to do something. I didn't think they were going to get a new goalie, so that's what they decided to do. And maybe it'll spark the team. We've seen it already with the Leafs in Calgary, obviously doing very, very well. Like I said, I don't think it's the coach's fault all the time, but it's harder to go trade for a goalie or sign a goalie, so let's get rid of the coach and see what happens.
Yeah, well, the coaches are always on the hook nowadays. I mean, with what they're paying these players and the length of contracts they have, the coach is always going to be the scapegoat, and it is the way it is. They know it, and when they go into these deals, they know that if the team's not playing well, they're going to be the one out. So we're going to see what happens in San Jose. They need to get there and get going. So we'll see what happens. Playoff team last year. Joey, we're gonna wrap here on another sad note. I hate to end every show, but a lot of people will not know in the NHL. I know because I'm 63 years old, but Lapointe, who was an NHL Hall of Famer defenseman, has been diagnosed with oral cancer. Seems pretty serious, and it's unfortunate. We're going to see a lot of that as we do in all sports, where the older guys, they start to pass away, and it changes the history of the sport. History starts to get younger. Your history is now going to be, what comes up. My history is in this impact here. So sad to see this great defenseman. I enjoyed watching Montreal Canadiens, who won a ton of Stanley Cups when he was playing. And so a sad note to see that situation as we go into this year. So, one last story. So I want to talk about Jack Eichel. Third guy to get to 20 goals this year. So pretty amazing that he's able to do this. Captain of the Sabres, young guy, seems to be leading the Sabres, and the future looks really bright for them.
Yeah, I mean, he has to. I mean, he really needs to be the guy there. He needs to I think they have like not many missing pieces because they're going to be close, I think, to a playoff spot. But they're missing some pieces. Maybe they can tempt someone to come. Another good season though by him. Not surprised, he had a good season last year. But this is what we talk about. You know, he is a guy who gets to play his 22 minutes. That's what Austin Matthews wants, and you know, being the captain as well, he's done a great job. He's got a young team around him, so you know it probably feels pretty reasonable the age of his players. He's not having to captain a 40-year-old or 30-year-old. So you know, good job in Buffalo. They're just missing something. Maybe it is the veteran presence.
Well, they're
that
very
they don't have
streaky.
yet, but
yeah, so they need some consistency.
So they need something there. But congratulations, Jack Eichel. We all thought he was going to be good. Second to McDavid in that draft there, you know. This is expected, and when you're the best player on the team, you have to. So at least he's living up to what's expected of him. But definitely something that to monitor going forward. Maybe he can turn his team into a playoff team one time. We criticize McDavid for not doing it. We don't criticize him as much because in Buffalo no one cares. But he does need to get his team to the playoffs at some point to really put a staple on his career.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's great to see. But there are two guys ahead of him. One of them, Ovechkin. We did have the talk at the start of the year about him breaking Wayne Gretzky's scoring record. He's obviously getting out there this year in second in scoring, 21 goals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, there's not much more that could be said that's about the grade 8. I mean, obviously, he's the most talented scorer we've seen. Probably, although it will be interesting. A lot of these guys right now are scoring at his level, and they just haven't had long enough careers yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. The biggest thing for Ovechkin, I think, always is going to be actually how much games he plays per season. He really hasn't been injured very much, and still scores all his goals. He really energized the city in Washington. That I don't think was huge on their hockey team really for a while, but he's really brought this hockey team to a new level, and the city has now 3 Stanley Cup for them since 2017. Their WNBA won a championship, and now their baseball won a championship. So the whole city of Washington's kind of rocking. It kind of all started with Ovechkin when he got drafted there and had his first unbelievable goal and put up unbelievable numbers.
Yeah. So unfortunately, it took so many years to win a cup.
Yeah,
and
but
then last year they got punted quickly.
The biggest thing for him though will always be played a lot, scored lots of goals, and really helped the city develop a great team there.
Yeah, for sure. And he's not number one.
Pasternak's number one. And I talk about him all the time.
But this guy, I learned about him in the playoffs because the Leafs have played him the last, I don't know how many number of years we get beat out, 3 years, whatever. And I never really, you know, it's hard to always find guys on other teams. But this Pasternak guy, his name was like throughout the whole playoffs, every game, Pasternak. This guy's an amazing player. 25 goals so far this year, 4 ahead of Ovechkin. And so really, and 5 ahead of Eichel. A great season for him. Boston's having another great season. We wondered about how they're going to play, getting a little bit older every year, but they are obviously still able to produce. And a young guy like Pasternak putting up 25 goals is pretty amazing. So there you go. We get to finish on a more positive note. Lots of goals being scored in the NHL. The Ovechkin watch with Gretzky, although he has to do
this 7 years.
He has to do this for 5 or 6, 7 years. That's how great Gretzky was. But he's the only one that's really taken had a shot at Gretzky, I guess. So that's why we're on the Ovechkin watch. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, it was great to talk to you guys. We'll be back with the NHL show next Thursday. And in the meantime, there'll be lots of great hockey to watch.